And we actually moved to Europe when Maddie, my oldest, was 8 weeks old.
Wow.
Because I said, I don't want to just go and live there with nothing to do. Like, I don't speak the language. I can't, my profession, I couldn't work. And so I feel like something in life I always like is like forward progress. If I get too stagnant, I get antsy and unhappy.
I'm Becky Brower, and I'm a Sendy mom. Welcome to the Sendy Mom Podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Sendy Mom Podcast. I am here with my good friend, Sarah Fowler, who is a neighbor of mine. One fun fact about Sarah that I do know is that she grew up as Sarah Fowler, and she's still a Sarah Fowler.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is a good story. I met my husband because he had the same last name. Yeah. The first time I ever met him, I told him we should get married because we have the same last name. And I was like, totally kidding. And then he was like, well, we should hang out. And he looked like he was on a date, but he was actually with his cousin. And I was like, no, you're on a date. Like, no, you can't ask me out. And later his friend was like, no, that really was his cousin. Can he take you out? And I was like, I guess. It's kind of funny we have the same name. And we found out we were like seventh cousins twice removed. And from there on out,
you were far enough apart that it wasn't weird.
That it wasn't weird, but still some people think it's weird, but that's okay.
Yeah, so, exactly. Well, you didn't have to change your name. So
I didn't ever change my name.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, yeah, that is a fun fact.
Yeah. So let's just go ahead and start out by you telling me a little bit about yourself, where you came from.
Okay. I grew up in Scottsdale, Arizona. I am the second child of 5. I actually have 4 brothers. So my mom and dad actually grew up here in Salt Lake area. My dad took a job in Arizona, and we were raised there our whole lives and loved it. I then left Arizona and went to BYU for school, where I met my husband, and then the rest is history from there. So.
Wow. Okay. So tell me, growing up with a lot of brothers, and that's actually kind of a blessing, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. I learned a lot of things from having brothers. I learned you just have to go with the flow. There weren't a lot of emotions in my house. So it was more of a, you just do it and you just push through and you just keep going. And
so you kind of keep the drama out of things, which was kind of nice. Did you get into the drama when you were in high school though?
Not really. I'm pretty pretty even kill. I'm not very emotional person. I don't cry a lot, which is for better or worse. I've realized as I get older, sometimes I'm like, this is really sad. I think I should be crying, but I'm not. But so no, not.
Well, and all the emotions are important, right? But some of them, but you're not doing it wrong. Like it's not. I remember Ethan, my oldest, he couldn't cry. There is some research around crying is kind of important.
And as I've gotten older, I do a little more, but
yeah. And so it's something that you kind of have to learn how to do. But growing up with in a family of boys maybe you would cry a lot because they'd be feeding on you. So that does.
I feel like I was a pretty strong kid. And another thing that was really fun is they would push me to limits and activities and sports. And so I always had to keep up with them. We went on family ski trips every winter and I just had to keep up. So then in college, I skied with boys most of the time because that's who I skied always with, So I just always had to keep up with them and do what they did, and which was really fun.
Yeah, exactly. And that makes it for an interesting dynamic. So so tell me a little bit more about the way that your parents raised you. Do you feel like you're a risk-taking child because of that, or cautious, or?
So my dad was amazing growing up, and my mom. So my dad, he would set his mind to something and he would just do it. And sometimes I look back and I'm like, some of those things he did were a little not crazy, but more adventurous. Okay,
tell me some of that.
So things that come to mind are my dad was a big Boy Scout leader for our youth group, and he one year decided he went on a kayaking trip with some friends and then decided why doesn't the youth group get to do this? And so in our garage, the first summer they learned how to kayak, and then the whole next year they built kayaks out of fiberglass in our garage for 14 boys.
Holy cow.
And
that's crazy.
Drove all these kayaks up to the Snake River and used their own personal made kayaks to kayak.
Wow.
So that's one thing. Another thing that comes to mind is we would go on these boating trips in the summer. These were our family vacations. He was a big family vacation advocate. And it would be a 2 or 3 week vacation. He would rent it wasn't a yacht, but like a 60 or 70-foot boat that we all could sleep on. And he would captain it. And we would like go from port to port. Like we did this multiple times. We did like Seattle a couple times. We did Alaska, Florida, like the Cape Cod area.
Have I told you the story of our sailing trip in the Whitsundays?
No,
in Australia.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay, I will tell you this story because I don't think I've ever told it on this program. But okay, so because we lived in Australia for about 5 years, and so for Robert's 40th birthday, he wanted to go to sail around the Whitsunday Islands, which is amazing. 70 islands. They're like so beautiful and beautiful snorkeling and diving and things like that throughout those on the Great Barrier Reef. And so we decided, okay, we're just going to learn how to sail. And so it was a sailboat. That's it was like a yacht, like a 30-foot yacht. And we didn't want to, we just wanted to do it by ourselves.
But just your family?
No, just us two.
Oh, just you two.
Yes.
Wow.
And so basically I read a book about wind. And then we took one class on the Brisbane River, and it was like a completely calm, beautiful day.
So
like
it was easy sailing.
So easy sailing, and it was kind of boring. I remember sitting there like, okay, is this what
all
it is?
We're doing?
Because we're just all sitting there on the boat now. I'm like, great, okay. Anyway, we get out there, and we had like, I can't remember what the knots are of the wind, but it was a big wind. Like it was windy. Like the first night we were out there, we're like going back and forth on this.
And you're like, I hope we're anchored in or buoyed in correctly.
Exactly. And we're going back and forth. And so the next day we kind of, we take it out for a little bit, and we get kind of out there a little ways. And I had like put the ropes down and stuff, and I didn't do it tight enough or something, because the ropes came out like with a big gust of wind, and the sail was going all over the place.
Like, help, but there's only two of you.
No, yeah, and there's just the two of us, and so I'm like praying, I'm like, and so all of a sudden the wind went, and the sail came back, and I got the rope, and I was able to get it around. And so after that, but we did kind of break the sail a little bit, like we ripped it just a little bit, and so then after that we just moored, we just like anchored in place, and we kind of snorkeled and stuff, and a little bit, but it never died down. Like the whole week, it was just kind of crazy. And so on the last day when we were supposed to go back, it was the worst that it had been, and we had these. I may be exaggerating because it was like very dramatic at the time. We really did not know what we were doing. But these waves, they seemed like they were like 12 feet high going up and down. They probably were
pretty big.
They were really big, because we would like crest over one and then go down. Yeah, and just crash on it. And Robert's like, oh, we're going to get a helicopter for us. Like, we are not going to do this. We're totally done. And I was like,
but did you make it?
Yeah. I was like, okay, we're going to do this. And there was a motor on the boat. And so we could kind of motor on it. And so we like kind of motored a little bit. And then, and I'm just standing there with my raincoat on, and the rain is coming.
This isn't what we did. This is not like
exactly what I'm like singing primary songs, and I'm like, praying, and we just kind of motored our way through it all and everything. The dishes all came out and cracked on the floor. I had to,
that's scary.
I threw up over the edge, yes, but that was our boating experience. That is scary.
We never had waves, luckily, I guess, that were that bad. But
because they can be.
Yeah, we totally could.
In the Caribbean. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's fun. So you haven't really carried that tradition on in your family.
It would be a great thing to do with our kids. I feel like they're like just old enough to embark on something like that. So who knows what the future brings. We'll see.
Yeah. And you felt like you could just kind of jump in with any of your siblings and do all of the fun activities that they would do.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's cool. What were some of the things that you felt like you excelled on in high school?
So in high school, I loved to dance, and so I did like the high school dance team, and that was like my favorite and what I did. My parents weren't like huge advocates of like pushing us to be like the most incredible athlete. Okay. I think they pushed more of like a well-rounded. They really pushed academics, and they encouraged us to do athletics, but we weren't on the traveling teams, which I respect now. Like, we know that we can really dive in with this day and age with kids athletics. So, but I think they're like, our family's more important. We don't want you doing all these things that take away from like our family with 5 kids if one kid is in too deep, And so my dad and mom were really about like the experiences that they could provide us. So
yeah. Yeah. So the sailing was one of them. Did you travel up other places as well?
We traveled to Hawaii. They took us over to Europe a couple times.
Yeah.
So they love to travel.
Okay. So what do you think about with your kids? Are they in traveling teams and things like that? Because I know that like sports is kind of important to your family.
Yeah. Yes, it is. My husband, as you mentioned, sports is important. My husband played collegiate football. And so in his family, sports is very important, which we love. So I have 3 girls and then a 4-year-old boy. So the 2 older girls are dancing. And then the third girl likes more athletic things like soccer and tennis. But the older ones, they dance quite a bit and they are a little more competitive than I was growing up. So we're trying to figure out that balance.
Do you like it? Do you like being part of that?
Yeah, it's been a really fun experience for them. We travel like a little bit, like once or twice a year for it. So not excessive by any means. But yeah, I love that they're part of a team and they have something that keeps them busy. And so
what does that look like? How much time do they spend a week?
So one's 12 and one's 10, and they are at the dance studio probably like 12 to 14 hours a week.
Okay.
And
but it kind of becomes your community too, right?
Does. Yeah. Like they're all hanging out with dance friends today, going to a water park with one of them, so.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like talking about, whether you do the traveling team and this stuff that takes a lot more time. And I used to kind of think like, that's not me, which it's not really me either. Like we don't do a lot of that stuff, but at the same time, I recognize that everybody picks their community.
That's true.
And who they want to hang out with. And my sister is really into the soccer community. Her kids all do soccer and she's that like 24/7. She like dedicates her life to it. And that's what she loves to do. So,
and it's nice. It gives a community, it gives people to help raise their kids, to help, give experiences too. So we all kind of, you're right. Pick what we
want to focus on. Yeah. So what do you feel like? I mean, you're a young mom, so you've got little kids right now. And so what are you focusing on for yourself right now?
That's a great question. What do I do? I feel like for myself, a lot of it is focused on my kids right now. I love to help them and to watch them excel at things and feel happy and have experiences. I also love to hike and play pickleball, so I do some of that too. And I feel like another thing I'd like to bring up is I feel like as I get older, I realize like what in my life does success look like? And part of it is providing like experiences for people, for my kids, for other people, like being able to do cool things. As I was younger, it felt easier when my husband, will go back a little bit. My husband, we finished in college and he decided he was going to go do a law degree. So we moved out to Virginia and he started law school. And then he finished law school. And at the end of law school was like, I don't really want to be an attorney. And I was like, great. We just went through 3 years of law school. But one thing, I loved it because we moved back east. Like I always am looking like for something new, something to challenge me, something to push me. I'm okay out of my comfort zone. I kind of like that change and whatnot. So then he thought, I'm going to go into business. He started interviewing at companies with his friends that were coming out of MBA school from the same university.
Yeah.
And took a job in business in Texas. So then we moved to Texas.
So, okay. So tell me a little bit about that. Like when you've spent 3 years out there, like getting this law degree.
Yeah.
And he's had, like, what was that conversation like?
He interned every summer at law firms and he was like, it's okay, but I'm working in business law. And he's like, I just sat at the table and wished I was like on the other side. I wish I was on like the business side.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, and law school kind of fell into our laps. He was finishing up playing football at Brigham Young University. And he had 1 more year of eligibility of football, but he was finished with his degree.
Classes.
So he's like, what do I do? Like, and they're like, well, you can't. He wanted to go to MBA school and they're like, nope, you have to have work experience. So you can't start at the MBA program. And so then he was like, what about law school? And they're like, yeah, you could take the LSAT in 2 weeks. That's like the time frame you had, and then apply. And so he's like, all right, here we go. So he took the LSAT, did pretty well on it, and ended up being like, well, maybe I should go to like a
a JD or something?
A higher ranked university than BYU.
Got it. Yeah.
So he took one class his last semester of college, like 1 credit hour, so he could play football. And then we went to the University of Virginia, which is a little higher ranked law school than BYU.
Okay. And he stuck it out, basically.
Yeah, and he loved it. I mean, he thought it was interesting, but he just was not the attorney, didn't want to be billed.
But it was probably still a really good background for what he's doing now.
Yeah, the job he took out of law school, you either had to have like a law degree or an MBA or a JD or a PhD or, one of the advanced degrees. So then, but when he told me, I was like, okay, well, here we go. Like, let's figure out what we're going to do.
How was that like to move away from family and friends and things like that?
I thought it was like thrilling. I was really excited. We were, moving, starting afresh. Everyone says some of those years are like the funnest years of your life. Like,
did you have kids?
We didn't have any kids. No.
Okay.
So it was, that's kind of where I was going, to provide like cool experiences. Back then it was really easy. It was just like me and him, we could just like go, and I didn't have to think about anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we moved back east and we like loved it. We found a family of friends there, that we became really close with, still are really close. And
you pick up these people in your life, you don't leave people behind necessarily, although proximity makes a big difference.
Yes,
how much
how much you spend. But with those kind of people, you can like pick up and be like right where you left off.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We still travel with some of them. We moved to Dallas and he took a job with a consulting firm. And the whole time I was like, we lived in Dallas a couple of years, and then an opportunity came that we could move. There was a program that took one person from every office around the world and like traded them. It was like an ambassador program. Okay. And you had to like work at the company a certain number of years to even apply. They only took one person from the office every year. I was like, apply, let's do it. And he's like, really? He's way more risk adverse than I am.
Interesting.
He's more conservative. I'm the one that's like, let's do it. This will be fun. Like, let's just figure it out. We can do it. And he's like, okay, but like how? Like, what do these logistics look like? Yeah. And like is more of a planner. And I'm like, let's just do it. So
that sounds like me and Robert.
You're the like, let's just go. Yes. One person has to push. Yeah.
Like, why are you waiting on my parade? Stop it.
Let's just do it. And luckily, sometimes I get my way. So So he applied, and we ended up getting to go travel and live in Belgium for a year, which was really exciting. And
yeah.
So
did you speak Dutch or French? Or?
The program, you could put like 5 places you wanted to go, only one of which could be English speaking. Okay. So I was really hoping to go to Australia, but I think a lot of people would really like to go live in Australia. And then the rest of the places, a couple of them had to be emerging markets. So like like Johannesburg, Brazil, South Africa, Kuala Lumpur. It kind of narrowed down to some of those.
Yeah.
And then Netherlands and Belgium, I guess we had heard were good work environments. And so we ended up being placed in Belgium, which we did not speak Dutch. My husband spoke a little bit of French.
Okay.
We were actually at that point, I wasn't older, but I was almost 28. And so we had been trying to have kids for a couple of years. And we were like, hey, we can do it if we are able to have a baby first. And so I finally was able to get pregnant through lots of time and effort. And so I had a baby, and we actually moved to Europe when Maddie, my oldest, was 8 weeks old.
Wow.
Because I said, I don't want to just go and live there with nothing to do. Like, I don't speak the language. I can't, my profession, I couldn't work. And so I feel like something in life I always like is like forward progress. If I get too stagnant, I get antsy and unhappy.
Okay, there's a couple of things I want to kind of unpack then with that. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so first of all, tell me what your career path was.
So I studied nursing at BYU, at Brigham University.
Yeah. So. All right. And so you had done nursing, but you couldn't practice in Europe because you need to be licensed.
You need to be licensed. I can speak the language, a few large barriers.
That makes sense. Yeah, for sure. So now tell me about the infertility stuff and how that was for you.
So I was one that I was never the one that was like, all I want to do is be a mom. Okay. I wanted to have a career. I was like, kids kind of seem like a hassle. This is so sad to say, but it was true. So there was a few years that we were married for like 6 or 7 years before we had kids, and it was fun and it was easy. But finally we like started trying, and it was a year and a half later and nothing. So they're like, oh, what's going on? So we went in and they diagnosed me with a condition called poor ovarian reserve. It means my ovaries like age faster than I do. So they're like, you totally could get pregnant. It just could take like 3 or 4 years. Like it just could take a lot longer. Like,
so your ovaries are older.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Interesting. And so does that just mean they stop producing eggs?
Yeah. And your egg quality isn't as good. Exactly.
Okay.
So testing done while we lived in Dallas for this at a infertility clinic. And then I called my dad, who's actually a OBGYN, not just gynecologist at the time. And he's like, read me your labs. And he's like, no way. You're like way too young. These aren't right. Yeah. He's like, well, then maybe they are, but this like doesn't seem like it could be plausible.
Yeah.
And so he's like, come to Arizona. I have a friend that's an infertility specialist. He's in that field,
Sure.
So I came to Arizona. We didn't tell the doctor I had any testing done, ran all of the labs, exactly the same information.
So then it was like,
and both doctors were like, I don't even recommend like doing an IUI. I would just go straight to like IVF. And I'm like, oh, this was all really shocking. And maybe it was God's plan to be like, you know what? Maybe you need to learn that you do want kids, and we're going to make it hard for you to have kids.
And we're gonna put a pressure on you.
Yeah, exactly.
Your biological tick is ticking faster.
Yeah, exactly. So then we started down the infertility journey, which it's not an easy one, Then once you want something and you can't have it, you're like, well, this is like emotional. That was probably one of the hardest years emotionally for me, as my husband worked all the time. I worked all the time. We were going through infertility treatments. We did IVF, had a cycle fail, and then finally had a cycle be successful.
Okay.
And that's when I got pregnant. And that's when I'm like, okay, now we can go abroad because I'm pregnant.
Yes.
We can apply for this program.
Yeah. Wow. So how did you kind of get through that time? Because I know there's a lot of women that have kind of struggled with this.
I think I just kept thinking like, obviously I wanted a family and wanted kids,
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking it'll work. Like, you just had to be like, it'll work out. This will work, or we could adopt. And ironically, as we went back, my husband, looking into law versus business, one of the company he worked for that he ended up taking a job out of law school, one of their big pitches was like, we have this incredible insurance plan. Like, this is like, they like push this, right? They like tried to recruit you. And we're like, we are like two perfectly healthy, young 20-year-old kids. Like,
we don't care about insurance. Of course, you never care about insurance.
So then he starts working and all this infertility stuff comes up, and we find out like to have a baby with infertility treatment with his plan was literally like $5.
Wow.
Like,
what a blessing.
What a blessing. We had no idea. Like, we had no idea we'd hit that road. Yeah. So maybe that's one of the reasons he went that path, right? Who knows?
Exactly. So, I don't know. Well, we just have we have different choices that we make in our lives, and then it makes this like beautiful tapestry. I think,
totally. And you never like quite know why you're making that choice, or when he's like, I don't want to be a lawyer. You're like, great.
Yeah. Hey, Cindy friends, quick pause in my conversation with Sarah. I just want to say thank you for being here, for being part of this Cindy community, and for choosing to spend part of your day with us. If this episode is resonating, do me a favor and send it to a friend who could use a little push toward being more Cindy today. That's really how this podcast grows, one share at a time. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit subscribe wherever you're listening, and head over to cindymom.com for every new episode, plus extra content you won't find anywhere else. Before we jump back in, a quick preview. The next episode is a bonus episode. I'm going to be talking to you about Lema Bowie. She rallied the women in Liberia to stand up to thugs in her country who would enlist children to commit despicable acts. She and her force of women are truly women doing something. My next interview is with Allison Lee. I have been really interested in what it means to play as an adult, and please do not search for adult play on the internet. But Allie knows how to channel her inner child, and I can't wait to share her story with you. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of it. Okay, back to Sarah. She just walked us through her infertility journey, and next she's taking us to Hawaii. Let's go kind of to your parenting style and the kinds of things that you have been trying to teach your children. How do you teach them to be resilient, or do you have any, maybe some examples or stories from your life as a parent, how you've been able to help your kids to take more risks?
Well, I was with a couple of really old friends last night, and I was reading a couple of these questions to them, and one of them was like, "What are you, a risk-taking person, or what are your fears?" And my friend was like, "You're like fearless. Are you ever scared? Do you ever have fears?" Well, yeah. So apparently, in other people's perspective, I don't have a lot of fears, but I do. But I was telling her, sometimes it's just easier to lead by. If you're going cliff jumping, if you stand up there on that cliff forever, you're gonna get more nervous and get more nervous, Yeah. So I'm the type that I just walk off and jump. You don't look at it, you don't think about it, you just go.
Yeah.
So I think with my kids, learning to be more risk adverse and learning to try new things and conquer new things, I think is just led by example. We just do it, and we teach not to be afraid, and if they do fail, we get back up and try again.
What are some of the things that you feel like you've kind of jumped into? So what are some of the ideas that you have, or things that you would like to do, or that you have done?
Well, something we did with our family, and like I said, it was really easy back then when you didn't but have kids. And then now I feel like I have four other kids that I have to think of their well-being. So it's not as easy to just jump into things. We have to make sure they feel stable and make sure they have a community and whatnot, which is really important to us now. But during COVID, when everything kind of closed down, I'm like, let's move to Hawaii. And my husband's like, well, we live here and have a house here. And I'm like, well, the kids aren't even I had a kindergartner. She was my oldest, And I'm like, well, she's not even in school. No, we're not doing any sports. And so we went and rented a condo in Hawaii for 3 months.
You did?
So
really?
just a short amount of time, And
I love that.
I'm like, why take advantage of this time? So
that's awesome. And what were some of the things you got to do in Hawaii?
We stayed on the North Shore of Oahu. It's one of my favorite places. But my husband still works, so he just worked earlier hours, and I just would take the kids to explore and adventure and hike and swim and all the Hawaii things.
Just move. I totally love that.
I know.
Sarah. That's awesome. Yeah. Do you have any other plans of?
That's a good question. To go maybe live abroad or go experience, or just try to give them experiences like that. There's different experiences for youth now that they can go do really cool experiences. So
yeah, and it's just so much easier now than I feel like, or maybe it just has become more normal. To be able to do those kinds of things. You hear about other people they lived in New Zealand for 6 months. I guess you can do that.
Well, and especially I think with social media, you can see more of other people's lives. Even things like this, we get to hear about. You might not have ever thought to do something, and then you hear it on a podcast, and you're like, oh, that's something I could do. Maybe
I guess that's possible.
So the world's become smaller through social media and
exactly. I know. I love that Ricky took her kids to the Oregon coast for a year, basically, and tented all the way up the Oregon coast. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. So
I know. So so there are things that we can do, and there's different, educational pathways where it used to be very much, set you go to school and then you go to college and then you go to, and get a job. There's a lot of different ways to have a really successful life, and you just kind of have to figure it out for yourself. How do you help your kids to learn consequences for risk-taking kind of behavior, or what would be?
I feel like we're just starting to move into, consequences for them as they get a little bit older. But I think it's just example yesterday, I think, well, for my daughter, I was driving her to dance, and I think you just have to set a precedent that I'll follow up with what I say.
Yeah.
I drove her to dance, and we got there, and she threw a fit that she didn't have her dance bag. She's like, I got it out and I put it out. Why didn't you grab it? I'm like, it's not mine. That's not my responsibility.
Yeah.
And she's like, go back and get it. I need it. I'm like, no, you don't. You'll be fine without it. She needed some ballet shoes and ballet tights and whatnot from the bag. But I'm like, no, you will have to tell your teacher that you forgot your bag, and I didn't bring it to her. I think just when to teach them consequences, you have to follow through. I think it's easy now to be like, oh yeah, I'll go grab that for you real quick, or whatnot. But
You have to stop and just kind of think about it. Like, what is this going to be teaching them? If I, because they do kind of have to take responsibility for the choices that they make.
And my parents were pretty like tough love. Like, sorry if you did that and it didn't work out, like,
I know
you have to deal with it. So
yeah, Wyatt is doing driver's ed right now.
Yeah.
And you have to take this online course like this, and you have like a month and a half to do it. Well, both he and Aaron like wait till the very last yes.
You're like,
and you cannot do it.
Your course.
Yeah. You can't do it in 2, it just, so now he's like every single day. And I just told him, I said, if you have to extend this, you're going to have to pay for it. And, and I'm not going to front you the money. You're going to have to earn it first and then be able to take it. So you just won't get your driver's license.
And that's hard sometimes because you're like, I could just hand him the money. Like I could.
And it would be easier for me if he had a driver's license.
Yes. You're like, this is a consequence that's affecting me. And I don't, in a negative way, like, I want you to go drive. Yeah.
But sometimes, you just like, what is your task? This is your job to get to bring your dance bag. If you forget to bring your dance bag, then you just have to deal with it, because so often we rescue them because we're afraid of what other people are going to think of us.
Yeah. Like, you didn't go get it. And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I tell your teacher.
You have to be okay
and
with
she
that.
was fine.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I know Ethan used to clean off the tables, like the lunch tables, because they'd give him free lunch because he would forget to bring his lunch. And I would not bring it to him.
That's how I am. I'd be like, no, sorry. Like, I'm not doing that.
Exactly.
I see all these other parents running stuff to school, and I'm like, unless it was like the biggest thing that you worked a month on, I maybe would bring it over to this. No, you can deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. So, how else are they going to learn to be independent like we have, right? And to be strong. We want them to go
be
through
resilient
all of those
and strong
things.
And
so that they can do it to their children someday.
Totally.
That's really the point. All right. Well, what is something that kind of terrifies you that you would maybe like to try?
Something that terrifies me, I think, is becoming like stagnant in life. Like, I always feel like you need to have like something you're working towards or something that's like interesting. As I was having kids, like throughout having 4 kids, every time a kid would hit like 18 months, I'd be like, I probably should go back to work. Like I have this like itch because I think I felt like I was like,
you're not growing.
Exactly. And then I'd get pregnant. So I'm like, okay, not my time yet, Yeah. And then I finally had my 4th, and at about like a year, 18 months, and I actually did go back to work for a little while. Then I was like, okay, it's not worth the time of like trying to figure out childcare and to be able to work a job. But I needed it. I needed to like get back and feel productive, and I got to have growth, got to have something
that helps me to learn and grow and whatever. And so a lot of the reason why I do the podcast is because it's helping me to grow. Like I'm learning,
and
like
it takes you out of your comfort zone a little bit. You have to, it's not easy to invite people to your house and like talk to them.
Right. So. And then all the, the marketing and the, whatever social media stuff. It's not that journey. Part is not always fun. I will say that.
But you're growing and you probably look back from when you started and you're like, wow, I know so much more about this, which is like which is fun and amazing.
Yeah. So the learning part of it, I think, and I think there's a lot of women that are like that. Like the more that I do these interviews and meet people, the more I realize like we're hungry for the knowledge, for the understanding and the education.
The growth.
Yeah. And the growth, it pulls a lot of us to want to do more.
Yeah.
So,
and I guess one reason I stepped away, my husband was like, I'd love if you'd like did some real estate things. So I've kind of been like dabbling in that, which is fun.
Okay.
So I haven't like been totally stagnant.
Yeah.
It's kind of a newer thing, and it's been
that's
interesting.
Fun.
And we've learned.
Do you guys own some properties?
Just 1 or 2. Yeah.
Okay.
So
and you manage all of those yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you get into that?
Just like when I stopped working again as a nurse, he was like, let's do that. Like, let's get into this.
And so tell me about buying your very first property and how that came about and how you felt about it.
Well, it was, you're like, we're using this money and we need to do something with it. And so it's actually just like we bought a condo in Lehigh to like rent out. So we, 2 years ago, bought it, and I've just managed it and rented it out. And it's been yeah, at first it was scary, but now you're like, okay, I got this. And like you said, you learn so much along the way of things you didn't understand and you didn't know you even needed to learn. So
yeah. So what's the plan with the real estate stuff?
That's a good question. I think we were like, let's try to buy something like every year or two. So I think we'll look at more things and kind of just keep building a small portfolio and see how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's kind of how we started too. We were going to buy a house every single year. And then
did you do this?
Yeah, we've done it pretty consistently, but not every year. I mean, at some point you kind of get tapped out a little bit, and just being able to manage them and everything like that. Did you manage them? We have, yeah. So mostly I handle like the renovations and all of the, he rents them out and kind of keeps up with the tenants. And if there's a problem, he'll go over and take care of all of that stuff. But and I tried to do what, like, to find places. I had all my spreadsheets that were so perfect.
It's hard.
I would show them.
This is interesting.
Him.
I didn't know you did this too. Yeah. It's like a side thing that seems fun, right? You don't talk about a lot. I didn't know if I'd bring it up, but here we are.
Yeah, I know. Which I think is really important because it shows that, like, because a lot of people are afraid of doing real estate. Like, it seems so big and it's so much money and everything, but you can figure it out.
That's like what I've learned.
Yeah. Like there's books and there's like podcasts you can listen to. Do you have stuff that you listen to that kind of helps with that?
Yeah.
And there's one called Bigger Pockets. Have you
I haven't. I should check it out.
That's pretty good. Yeah. So there's some,
and
there's
I just feel like
resources.
Taking that first step, you just have to like start.
Yep.
And like one came up and they're like, this seems okay. And maybe it wasn't the best deal, but you just go with it and you're like, this is what I've got and I've got to work with it and make, so.
And things just kind of come into your life when you're putting that energy out there, like that you're looking for it.
Totally.
Then things start coming. And the other thing that you have to remember too, is that it may seem really expensive at the time, but generally if you're in an area that has growth. It's going to go up.
Yeah.
And so if you
hopefully it all works out.
Exactly.
Best,
usually.
Right?
So you want to just keep that in mind, because I remember buying our first one. Like, we bought this house in Orem for, I think it was $150,000, a 5-bedroom house, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
If only you could buy anything for that, though, right?
I know. And it now, obviously it's worth a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And so the equity just continues to increase, and you have somebody that's paying the mortgage. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Real estate.
So it's been kind of fun. So that's kind of what I've been dabbling now. I don't know where it'll lead, but we'll see.
Yeah. We kind of hope to have a house for each one of our kids to kind of, well, not to inherit
use if they need, but use if they need.
Yeah, exactly.
Rent if they need. Yeah.
Or even just, just part of the inheritance for everybody. I've got some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
Let's do that. So tell me about what has brought you joy in the last 24 hours.
I guess just offhand, the first thing I thought of was this morning, my little boy came and like got in bed with us this morning, and like just having, I just have to remember I have to cherish these years of younger kids. Yeah. Because it is a really special time, and he's 4, and soon that won't happen because he's growing up.
Yeah. I find it interesting when I ask that question, like almost 100% of the time, it's about the relationships that bring us joy.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, and especially like snuggling with the little kid.
I know.
It is so
And I left and
precious.
He was like still asleep in my bed. He was so cute. So.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Tell me about a book that you've read recently or that you really like.
A book I've read recently. One that came to mind when I saw that question was We Are All Paralyzed.
Brandon.
Yes.
Seltzer.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
It's so interesting. It's about a man who was paralyzed in his journey, overcoming things that are really, really difficult. So
yeah. And now he does a lot of really good things, helping people to overcome
trials and difficult things.
Yeah, I love that one. That's great.
What's
your favorite podcast to listen to?
Besides
this one.
This is embarrassing. I listen to Don't Miss This a lot. It's an LDS podcast. It's like one of my favorites.
I love it. No, that's a great one.
I listen to that one a lot.
Come Follow Me.
Yeah, I know.
That's great.
Another book I actually wrote down that I was listening to recently. I'm reading it right now, actually. Sometimes I'll read, sometimes I'll listen. But it's called Believe in Her, and it's by the current track coach at BYU.
Okay.
And it's all about as she's worked with women, how to help women succeed and help them to believe in realistic dreams and achieve their goals. And because she's been so closely related with women athletes for so long that she has written.
Ooh, I'm going to totally check that one out.
Yeah, so it's called Believe in Her. It's really
okay.
short, and I'm like halfway through it. It's been really interesting.
Okay.
And it's sad to see how much like in teenage years, women's like teen confidence drops, and like how we can help prevent that. As I have girls, I thought it would be a good one.
Sometimes it takes a long time to get it back.
Yeah.
So I love that. Okay, I'm going to look that one up.
One too.
Okay, what about a charity or nonprofit that you support?
One of my favorites is one called Live Your Dream. It is a charity that supports single moms. So to go back and get an education. And so how it started was, so they give scholarships to moms who are in school that are single moms. So my mother-in-law works pretty closely with them. That's how I know about it. They do a golf tournament every year. It's a really awesome organization, and it helps. It's a more local charity, so it helps.
Have they been pretty successful in getting women through then?
Yeah, I've known recipients of scholarships, and so it's been really close to home. So I've like recommended like a friend be like, all right, I know you're in school and you're a single mom, like apply for this. You could get it. And like she got it. And
that's really cool. Okay.
Just helps.
Yeah, I need to get the news out about that, those kind of programs a little bit more.
It's called Live Your Dream.
I love that. That's really cool. Yeah, really good.
Because I feel for those moms, because it would be really hard to be a mom alone.
So you might have answered this already, but what about favorite vacation spot?
Probably Oahu, Hawaii. Yeah. It's my favorite. I love it.
Yeah.
We go there a lot, and
so beautiful.
I know. I spent a semester there in college. Then we went back later with the family. So
I love that. That's awesome. Really good.
My favorite.
And what's something that you try to do every day?
I actually had a hard time thinking about this. I kept thinking about it, and I was like, well, I don't actually do this. But something I actually do almost every day is stretch. I work out quite a bit, but I always take like 4 or 5 minutes at the end to stretch.
That's actually a really good idea.
And I really love it. And I think everyone should.
Yeah. So that's something that we forget to do.
Yeah. You just end your workout and go off. But I think it keeps your body healthy, and
it keeps you able to move. Be
less stiff. And so that's something I do almost every day.
I love that. Okay, really good. I love that you have this drive to continue to educate yourself and to have growth and to continue to contribute to the world, because we need that so much more in the world.
And I feel like sometimes people describe success about what money you've made or whatnot.
Yeah,
I would feel like success would be the experiences we can be given, and the looking back and being like, that was so cool, I got to do that, or
yeah, exactly.
So if we're able to provide that for kids or other people,
right? Yeah, or even just looking at it, at the experiences that we have, and drawing the lesson from it, that can be successful as well. So
totally,
and teaching our kids to do those kinds of things is priceless. So
agreed.
Yeah, this has been really fun. And I'll have one more question, because my son-in-law recommended this one.
Okay,
do you believe in ghosts?
Ghosts? No, I don't think I believe in ghosts as you would think of a sense of Ghostbusters.
Paranormal activity.
Yeah. Okay. But I think I do believe that there are people on the other side that are prompting us to make good decisions.
Okay.
So can I say yes and no?
Yeah. That's pretty much where I'm at too.
I like that. That's an intriguing question.
I know. I thought so too.
Yeah, I definitely think there's people that are encouraging us and supporting us in our decision making.
But I don't think they're necessarily there to bother us.
No, it's kind of why can I not think of the movie that just came out with Rocky? Space movie.
Oh yeah.
No, we're going to think of it, but we always think of aliens as scary.
Yeah.
And threatening. This is the first time you've thought of an alien as and I think that's why I love the movie. You've thought of an alien as
Hail Mary.
Hail Mary, exactly. Thank you. You thought of an alien as this creature that could be helpful and kind, right? That's never had crossed my mind. Ghosts, you always think of them as scary and frightening and destructive, but no, maybe they're surrounding us in a positive way.
I know, it's kind of like the Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
You think it's so gross and, whatever, but they're actually just spirits. Just
they're Rocky, the good alien.
Yeah.
So I think that's one reason people like that movie so much, because it changed the perspective of something we'd always thought.
I know, because we watched the movie Alien or something and we get totally freaked out. They're going to destroy us or whatever. But
yeah. So
lots of different ways to think about it. Anyway. All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. This has been so fun.
This has been really fun. We'll see you soon.
In the words of Eleanor Roosevelt, do something every day that scares you.